Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it. Number one flaws, you don't know ball. We taking advantage of that. Got you Karens asking where the manager at. With no cap, no time for the amateur rap. Look, man, we got dogs all over the depth chart. Monsters on the roster. Straighten up that posture. Rooting out you imposters. Silver bullets in the chamber. And a D-line full of danger. Step back with that linebacker trigger, when he pull it, it'll bang ya. Running backs running down here. Touchdown on your IG reel. Better check the stats, buddy, it's straight facts over how you feel. Whenever I speak, I'm giving you more balls than German Village or North and High Street. And you know, the average Joe can do nothing with my flow. It's a waste. Somebody please give his brother an I.O. Come on.
I told y'all before, I need to feel y'all's energy. Stop sitting on y'all hands and get this place lit. Like I said, bring the energy.
Yeah, you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. You know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. It's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the... What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing out there? Stilly Matt in the chat. What's up, y'all? Lieutenant Lunatic Fringe. I always want to call you Lieutenant Fringe. All the usuals. What's up, Andre Green? Everybody in the chat. I really, really appreciate Tyler Caressley, how the chat is already popping before we even get started. That's a beautiful thing. Because listen, you know, we watch YouTube. There's a lot of lives that don't get that treatment. That's dope, man. Funky, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, B. Moses. Another Sunday as national champions. So can't complain too much. Just dealing with finals week, or next week is finals week for me. So just, you know, hitting the books hard. But yeah, I mean, nothing gets me more excited than being able to talk about more Ohio State football, because now we're 1 week closer to week one. So, and now the start of spring football is tomorrow. So pretty much football season's tomorrow. So it's great. It's like nothing. Yeah, it's like we're in football again. Now we can watch the spring showcase in a month or whatever. So I mean, it's all goodness right now in the home.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, tomorrow, spring practice starts tomorrow. I mean, I guess that's kind of the blessing in disguise of. I mean, we got the playoff run. You know, it was longer than any run in college football history, and now we kind of blink, and we got the spring practice starting tomorrow. We got a new quarterback we're breaking in. You know, a lot of guys we're replacing. So a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, a lot of, you know, behind the scenes stuff about who's been doing what so far. Very, very excited. Laughing at Lieutenant. I got new legs. Lieutenant. First, let me ask you, have you seen, please tell me, this may be a dumb question. You've watched the movie Forrest Gump, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I'm just wondering. You know, some of you younger cats. I mean, Forrest Gump is a classic. It's actually hilarious to me. Some parts are hilarious, mainly the Lieutenant Dan ice cream and how annoyed he was. But anyway, that's what Lunatic Fringe is referring to. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk about spring. We got some predictions on who the starters are going to be. But first, we're going to talk about, you know, who's going to have the better 2025 season, Julian Sayin or freaking Bryce Underwood, who's been running his yapper. And we're going to talk about that, you know, to start off the show. But yeah, man, so we're just going to get right into it. Death, taxes, and scum players or coaches or whoever running their mouth in the offseason. It's just what it is. It's to be expected at this point. But yeah, this cat, for y'all who don't know about this, Bryce Underwood, the freshman quarterback for the team up north, he was on the Rich Eisen show, right? and he was being interviewed, and he talked about his meeting with LeBron James and how he told LeBron James that Ohio State is done. Told, the big, Buckeye fan, LeBron, that Ohio State is done and blah, 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 blah. All right. So here we go. Now, with that said, to me, and Funky, as I pass this to you in a moment, because I know you got bars for this in the sense that I'll just kind of just set the backdrop. Okay. We can all pretend and act like the Bryce Underwood LSU recruitment and all of that before he flipped to Michigan when they handed him a bag he could not, resist, didn't exist. We remember quotes from him. We remember certain things he said about the team up north. And I'm going to have you get into that, Funky, because I think you can recite that better than me. But it's just funny all of a sudden you're all in on Michigan. Like you just, dude, we remember you were committed to LSU and some of the stuff you were saying. Not only that, Michigan fans are already putting, how Michigan fans are, man. When they lock in on a guy or guys, it's just like they put so much extras on them. Is Underwood a good prospect? Yeah, I think he's a really good prospect. But, I mean, all bias aside, all whatever aside, I'm taking Tavion St. Clair. And I'm talking about the same classes. The quarterbacks coming in the same classes. I'm taking St. Clair. I think he has a better upside. I think he has a better passing ability. He's a big physical kid. He's not as athletic as far as, maybe run as fast as Underwood, but he's not a statue. Give me St. Clair all day, every day. So there's that. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of where they might have him ranked, give me St. Clair. So anyway, I'm saying that to say, Michigan fans are putting a whole lot of pressure on Underwood. And, they're crowning him to come in. Go look at their comments. They expect him to come in this season and start. And, of course, it's going to be our running game and our defense. And he won't have to do too much. But he's going to be awesome and, blah, 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 whatever. This is a true freshman quarterback, y'all. True freshman, not a redshirt freshman, a true freshman. And there's already expectations like this heaped on him. And then on top of that, his comments already without taking a college snap, to me, like I don't recall this really yielding great results for a lot of players, if any, in this rivalry, especially as a true freshman. At the quarterback position, let alone. So with that said, Funky, please give me your thoughts on this. And also, I thought I heard you. I saw you on the board mention his comments when he was an LSU commit about Michigan and their development and stuff like that. I want you to get into that, bro.
Yeah, Bryce Underwood this whole entire recruitment. This is all well documented on interviews, on YouTube, in general. If you look back at the really old Wilt Fong stuff of talking about Bryce Underwood's recruitment before he committed to LSU, and they're wondering, wait, why isn't Michigan a player in this? Wait, well, why are you considering Michigan? You grew up 30 minutes away from Michigan. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if that's true or not. But, he's in the state of Michigan. He grows up right near Michigan. He obviously grew up probably a Michigan fan because he grew up, again, close to the university. His parents are Michigan fans. That was well known before his recruitment. But they weren't even considering him at all, like not even giving him a look. They were barely visiting them. They didn't even get it. I don't even believe they got an official visit up until really, really late into his process. And you wonder why. But now I look at it and I'm like, wait, of course he wouldn't consider it. Look at what Will Howard did this year. Will Howard threw for more touchdowns, threw for a higher completion percentage, and threw for more yards than any Michigan quarterback has ever done before. Will Howard. And that's not me crapping on Will Howard at all. I'm just saying,
right, I got you. Yeah.
If you're a 5-star number 1 recruit player in the nation, like your goal is to, again, be multi-time Heisman winner and throw for 1 million yards and rush for even more and win big games. But you're going to university that literally has never done that at a productive level ever. Literally ever. Not Shea Patterson, who was a 5-star, not J.J. McCarthy, who was a 5-star, That's the only two 5-star quarterbacks in my recent memory of Michigan.
Yeah, me too.
In
Can't think
there,
of any other.
and then you go on these podcasts and say, act like you're a true Michigan man, and you go, Ohio State is done. You, I want to win at least one national title and whatever, win at least one Heisman, or what he said, he's going to win two Heismans and a national title. That's what he called a shot for. I mean,
Yep.
I would go out there on a limb and say he's not going to win any of that, and he could still have a very successful career at Michigan. But I think the odds are way against him, and he's he didn't show up to Elite 11 too. That's the thing that people keep bringing
Right.
up, and it's important to bring up. He's clearly was scared of the smoke, and he thought, why would I go to this when people already think I'm the number one quarterback in the nation? Why would I try to go out there and show it versus the likes of Tavian St. Clair and the Alabama commit and the Cal Berkeley commit now, actually, the kid from Hawaii. So I'm forgetting their names, but are Keon Russell from Alabama, because those guys that went out there and balled out in the Elite 11 and really earned their checks, while other guys didn't. Like Juju Lewis for USC, he went to all these competitions, and people slowly start to realize that he's not all that, and he was a consensus top 5 player in the class for a while, and then by the end of his senior year, he was a middle of the pack 4-star guy. So, is it a little red flag that Underwood was ducking all these competitions? I mean, absolutely. That's a huge red flag because I mean, what has he proven? What has he proven? He played at a low level of competition in high school, just like Tavian, but at least Tavian goes to Elite 11 and can shows it
Yes.
out. He plays at a low level high school. He doesn't really camp much, and he's just yeah. I mean, he's literally proven nothing. So could he be great? Will he be good? Probably. I mean, odds are he'll probably be a good college quarterback. Just by speaking of purely off what are the odds, but he's getting paid $12.5 million a year to go to Michigan, and I don't think he'll even start next year for them.
Mm.
So, and if he doesn't start for them next year, what are they paying him? They're paying him $6.25 million a year to start, right? Because he starts for 2 years. That's $6.25 million a year to start for Michigan. And we don't need to talk about any sanctions that will happen or postseason bans that will happen. Just purely off right now, who is he going to throw to? Seriously, who's
Right.
he going to throw to? I mean, their tight ends are very subpar this year. They've not been able to recruit at a high level until this class that they have. Even though I can go through their players that they've committed in this class, and the big three that they have is Ty Hayward, a kid whose recruiting ranking went from like top 5 in the country to, I mean, it tanked. I think he ended up being 80th or 90th. He dropped out of he went from a high 5-star to like a pretty high 4-star, which is pretty, I mean, insane to happen that late in the cycle. Then Andrew Babaloba, that kid's, I've never seen a 5-star with such a mid level of offers. This kid wasn't being pursued by the likes of Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and that's usually weird. And it was a
Mhm.
5-star kid out of Kansas, right? Yeah, Kansas. So I mean, I'm not. So we've seen it happen a million times where these big fat offensive tackles get paid a bunch of money, go to the school and burn out, or don't do anything, or quit, or I mean, we've seen it all happen with especially the offensive tackle position. Uh, and then Bryce Underwood, who refused to show it out at he refused to show why he's ranked number one anytime ever. Like he just didn't. He never showed me why he's number one, and that was taken into account when a lot of his rankings because he wasn't the consensus number one with a bunch of these people. If you talk to these people who actually watch these kids play, and I know they're not perfect. Obviously, they're not perfect, but a lot of them have different opinions about it. It's not a
Yeah.
consensus number one. He's not some can't miss prospect. I mean, look at Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers was ranked a perfect prospect. And if Bryce Underwood is only as good as Quinn Ewers, then wow, they're going to be in for a rough couple
That's a
years
good
because Quinn
point.
Ewers Quinn Ewers played what 4 years of 4 years of college football, yeah,
Mm.
or was it
3
5?
technically, because
I
I don't. Well, one
yeah,
season at Ohio State, he didn't really play.
yeah,
Well, he
so
didn't play
so
except for
four
one
years,
game.
but 3 years really, 3 years
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
But think about it. I mean, he played so yeah, pretty much. Well, we just count it even 3 years. He played 3 years at Texas, and he wasn't even like a great player up until maybe like his senior year, because he was really struggling his sophomore year, really struggling, and he was really struggling again in the first half of his junior year. Uh, and that was with first round wide receivers. I mean, he had Xavier Worthy, the the Golden Kid this year, the Isaiah. Wow, I'm free. The Alabama transfer, the Xavier Worthy obviously last year, and then Matthew Golden, I believe his name is. He'll be. I mean, I've seen him mocked in the first round of some drafts. Do I think he'll be? Probably not. But he'll be an NFL player. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I mean, does Michigan have any first round, second round pass catchers on their team next year?
No.
No, they don't. Will they have them first round, second round pass catchers on the team next year, assuming they don't hit the portal extremely hard? No. I mean, who? I mean, they've not recruited at a high level unless we're thinking of freshmen. I think they have one wide receiver in the top 100. But I mean, as we know as Buckeyes fans, we've had a dozen wide receivers in the top 100 who've turned out to be kind of underwhelming or pretty much nothing. We had like four kids in the top 200 wide receivers in the class of, what was it, 2022, and they're all off the roster now. Or maybe Ballard's, or yeah, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing names today, but I think Ballard's the last one left out of those kids, or I might be messing up those classes, but what are Keon Graves and I mean, a bunch of talented kids, but they couldn't even see the field at Ohio State.
Right.
So if that's who they're relying on at Michigan, then at their best, then it's going to be a long time for him. Because, yeah, I mean, it's more than just a quarterback. You're going to need more than that. Ballard is gone too.
Yeah.
Who am I missing?
Jaden Ballard. Keon Graves is gone.
No, who am I thinking of? Sorry, I should know this, but I'm absolutely
That's still
blanking on
here.
wide receiver. Yeah, but I mean,
go ahead.
Wait 1 sec. Let me look it up because now this is bothering me. It is Bryson Rogers. My bad.
Yeah. I was gonna say Bryson Rogers. I thought because he left and came back. Well, he hit the portal and came back, I should say. But yeah. So to your point, to all of that, I want to first of all, before I kind of go into my response and spiel, didn't you say that? I thought I saw that he criticized Michigan's QB development. Didn't that happen?
Yes, that absolutely. I mean, that absolutely. He said who they had in the league, like who have they produced in the league, and they're like, nobody. I mean, obviously there's Tom Brady, but if you think if Michigan developed Tom Brady, then you're delusional. So
yes.
I mean, so far they haven't produced anybody. What is it? Chad Henne was like a 20-year backup.
Right.
Shea Patterson was he was a good player for the what's it called, the American football or whatever, the CFL or whatever the heck they call it now.
Right.
I mean, they literally. I mean, that's 5. And then JJ McCarthy. I mean, he's going to be a backup again for a second year in a row. I mean, given you can say injury or whatever, but I mean, he's going to be a backup. He hasn't done anything in the NFL, so I'm not going to give him credit until he does something, which he definitely could, but he hasn't yet. So I'm not going to give him the credit. Best believe that.
Right. So Stilly Matt said Elvis Gerback. But anyway, that's a real throwback. But yes, the point of me bringing that up and asking Funky that is because, again, to me, it's just funny. It's hilarious that these scum fans are delusional. Well, they are delusional. That's not surprising. This is just what they do. But still, it never ceases to amaze me the levels of delusion, because now they're trying to spin it and act like he's always been all in on Michigan. Dude, he was laughing at y'all until you presented him with that $12 million bag that he's like, yo, I can't turn this down. All of a sudden, you're Captain Scum. Like you've been all in day one. Come on, dog. Like, stop it. And it's just even more ridiculous because all season, all we heard from Scum fans is, you bought your team, you bought your title, you bought this, you bought that, you paid $20 million. But you're paying over, 12 million, almost half for one guy for what we pay for our roster, which wasn't even the highest paid roster. Like, it's the ridiculousness is just astounding. And of course, you're heaping all these expectations on him, and it's just crazy. So this will end poorly, in the words of my homie Mike Patterson. This will end poorly. But going back to the whole comparison between St. Clair, and we're going to get to Sayin and Underwood, is yes, Funky. To your point, go look at the recent success of Elite 11 winners. I mean, off the top of the head, CJ Stroud. I mean, like, bro, like, just Elite 11 matters. When you have competition questions like you do, like St. Clair, yeah, Bell Fountain, Ohio, that's not the greatest competition. Where he plays in Michigan, the division, and all, he didn't play like a bunch of Texas, Georgia, high level, competition, or even Northern Ohio or Southwestern Ohio, like like those big schools, St. Ed's and up by Cleveland, whatever. He didn't play a bunch of schools like that. But when you go to the Elite 11, then that's where you can kind of see you be compared against some elite guys, some elite throwers. And so to me, that's where you kind of stand out and answer the questions about the lack of competition. And he didn't do that. St. Clair did that, though. You feel me? So, again, I think Underwood's he's a talent. He's talented, athletic kid, has a big arm, it seems. But he's not St. Clair, man. St. Clair, to me, is the higher end talent. So it's just going to be fun to see this play out. And so with the title of the video, comparing Sayin and Underwood, because, like, listen, Funky, I know you said you don't think he's going to start. I think he's going to start. This is scum. They paid him $12 million, and I think they're going to push him out there. The boosters and all that stuff, I think they're going to politic this into him starting, unless he just gets out there and completely bombs. And it's just like embarrassing, like, oh, yo, you got to get him off the field before he gets hurt type stuff. I think he's going to start, man.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And I want to talk about the Elite 11 thing and kind of just like compare it to, or for some reason this comparison made sense in my head. I'm going to say it out loud. It might not. But the Elite 11's like, I compare it to like almost like track and field. You can talk all the crap you want. You can say all this stuff. You can run at these mini meets and be a bunch of slow kids. But right when you make it to like the big stage for indoor nationals, outdoor nationals, the Olympic trials, the Olympics, and you'll go against the best of the best and the kids that you want to be compared to, that's when you get humbled real quick. Because it doesn't matter how good you are. There's no ducking in track and field, and there's no ducking in the Elite 11. Because you're compared head to head, throw to throw. Yeah, I mean, you see it. Everyone knows Noah Lyles now because he talked all that crap to the NBA players, and he kind of showed it. And he went out there and won the 100-meter dash. That now he's a household name because he actually showed up. But best believe the pressure was on him to actually show up. If he would have ducked out of that competition, then I'm sure he would have been hated on, just as Bryce Underwood should be hated on. You can talk this big game about being the number one player in the country, but when you're scared to really show it and you're ducking smoke, it's just not a good look. Because, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more telling than watching players side by side. There's just, right. I mean, I watched. Trust me, I not the crap on Aaron Nolan, but I did was at that. I go to pretty much every single Elite 11 because again, I lived about 5 minutes away from where they would host it usually. So I went to every single one, pretty much everyone that was near us for my whole entire life, and it's pretty clear. You can tell who's good and who's not going to be good just by watching it. I was there for the Quinn Ewers versus Cade Klubnik. Mm-hmm. If you're honestly, after that, I genuinely thought Cade Klubnik was the better quarterback and the better player overall. I mean, he was a dog, and I think that's showing out. I think Cade will be a higher draft pick in the next year's draft, and I think he's the number one quarterback returning next year, and I think he would be drafted ahead of Ewers if he would have declared this year. And then I watched it last year with Julian Sayin versus Aaron Nolan. It was so obvious who was better. Julian Sayin was worlds better than Aaron Nolan was. And that's not trying to crap on Aaron Nolan, but that's just the facts of things. Julian
he was
Sayin
the number one quarterback for a reason.
Yep, exactly. And there's a reason why Sayin was the number one quarterback in the composite, and it's not because of him ducking the smoke or playing whatever. Because I'm forgetting that quarterback's name who committed to, DJ Lagway. Did I pronounce that right? DJ Lagway. If he would have not shown up to the Elite 11, he would have been the number one player in the composite by far. He would have been the unanimous number one player in the nation. But because he did, Julian Sayin, people got to watch him next to Julian, and we're wow, Julian's much better. Same with Dylan Raiola. They're like, wow, Julian Sayin's much better than that kid, and get Tank Dylan's stock. But if Dylan would have just sat back and taken his visits and taken his bags of money he got from Nebraska and just sat on it and whatever and act like Patrick Mahomes a little more, then he would have been like a top tier 5-star player. But I think I'm pretty sure ended up being like a 4-star player because he got compared to everyone else finally. It's like really like some of the first time, or it really is like the first time where you can really compare every single top tier prospect at once, and it's really telling.
It matters. Elite, exactly, bro. Elite 11 matters. If you're willing to go out there and compete with all these, top QBs across the country with the lights on you, I mean, it matters. And so, yeah, bro. Again, all bias aside, all hating Michigan aside, St. Clair is the better overall prospect to me. And we got him. And he's a Buckeye. He's an Ohio guy. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to, beg him and plead him and go get our 3 richest boosters to make him come here. You know what I'm saying? Like he was committed and wanted to come here regardless of any NIL package offered to him.
And he was clearly a top 2 quarterback at the Elite 11. It was
Absolutely.
in my opinion, probably a little biased, but I thought he was slightly better than Keon Russell. But I mean, that's not me hating on Keon, but both of them
other
star
people
players.
Thought that too, Funk.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you
some
weren't
sites
alone.
did too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what up, Dev? Underwood Clown Scum in an interview while he was committed to LSU. I thought he did. I know I've seen him make comments clowning Michigan and laughing and scoffing at the idea of going there when it kept getting brought up.
It was at the
Like,
On3 event. Sorry.
Yeah, we remember this. Like, so it's just like y'all act like we just don't remember like the stuff that was being said, and then now the bag comes and he's, like I said, Captain Scum. Like, dude, please go on somewhere real quick, because these super chats are on topic. Let's hit them real quick. Mike Green, what's up, brother? Appreciate you as always. Thanks for the 199. CJ won the Elite 11 accuracy competition. Yes, he did. And he is now known as a ball placement specialist. All right. Mike, again, thanks for the 499. B-Mo, what up? Yo, bro, every time a player or teams talk junk against us, always a crow. School Up North cheated to gain momentum to talk like this. Pure bum. Yes, they did, but the day of reckoning is coming. It's coming. It's coming soon.
Yeah, I want to bring up something about CJ Stroud because he's a California kid, Rancho. Oh my god, I mispronounced it. Yeah, Cucamonga kid. Like same section as me in California. He was a 3-star kid his whole career.
Yeah,
he was a 3-star kid his whole career. Then all of a sudden he jumped 247. He turns to a 5-star. Because you know why? Because it matters. It matters because you could put a ranking again. You could put a ranking on all these kids. But if you don't really see them compete against each other, you can't really compare. So people who really think Bryce Underwood is like this surefire, can't miss prospect, like that's just not a smart take in my opinion. It just isn't. Like whatever. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see this year. So
we shall see. I think we've made our point. Elite 11 is that deal, and the proof is in the pudding. We have real time, visible, tangible proof, and CJ Stroud is one of those main examples. What up, Mello? Shout out to the Buckeye boys. Dev in the chat, Mello in the chat. Make sure y'all follow there, subscribe to the YouTube channel. They're growing. They are growing. They go live every Sunday at 5 p.m. We go at 6. Kirk and Nevada go at 7. Make sure you subscribe. BOYZ with a Z. BOYZ. Boys with a Z, I should say. Subscribe. Mello, TSC, Tavion St. Clair cooked underwear at the Elite 11 Vegas when he ducked the smoke at the Elite 11 finals. Does underwear even take a snap in Ann Arbor with the sanctions? Bro, that is the $1 million question, isn't it? Now, to me, the only way to answer that is, what are the details of his NIL package? What contract was signed? What is there an out? Is there, you know what I mean? Is he, I don't know. That's the question, because to me, we all know when sanctions hit, when there's bow bans and there's certain sanctions, the portal opens up. They allow guys to leave. So is there something in his NIL package that will cause him to have to stay and just eat the fact that he can't, either do postseason play, or just be affected by others leaving in the portal and having nothing, even more nothing around him? That is the question, and we don't know that yet. So, but either way, it's looming, and the fact that it's something to look out for is just an amazing fact. Anyway, Funky, what you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Is that ideal backload it? Is it like you only get
Yeah,
he's only getting paid 2 million this year and 4 million next year, then 6 million his senior year. So, but so he
right,
doesn't get that 6 million if he doesn't play his junior year. Uh, is it a 4 year contract? Is it who knows? That's pretty much what I'm saying. No one knows really the contract details, but it's that's just impossible for me to really say because it's at the end of the day it's $12 million for this kid. Like he'll be an NFL draft pick if he just trains for 3 years. That's the thing for him. Like, will he be a first round guy? Probably not. But he will be an NFL guy if he just sits there and trains for 3 years. And they don't need to play for anything. Like, does he really care if they win games? Like, I don't
yeah,
know. $12 million is a lot of money. So that's will he transfer? I guess we'll
right.
see. I mean, I think you would think he would because if he can't compete for a national title like he claims he wants to, then why would he stay? But yeah, and then again, like if everyone else leaves too, because
That's
other
the
people,
problem.
the other people aren't getting paid $12 million. I'll tell you that. So they'll be way more inclined to leave. But yeah, it's $1 million question, and we'll see. I mean, the best part of this whole thing, it will end before Bryce Underwood or leaves Michigan. So given that's a long period of time, but it will. So
Yep. And real quick, Robert Howard in the chat, he said, I don't usually watch Scoop, but I like B Moses and Funky. Is this every Sunday? Yes, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We are live. Yep. So make sure you join us from here on out. Appreciate you. But yeah, so that's the question. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting over the summer, when the penalties and sanctions are actually, announced, and the fallout from that. I don't care about their appeal process and none of that crap. It don't, to me, they're dead in the water. It doesn't matter. So we'll see what happens at that point. But either way, it's just typical Michigan running their mouths. And especially from a true freshman who hasn't played a snap. And to me, I'm not convinced that he's a sure shot guy. And we've just hammered all the reasons behind that. So we gonna see. So with that said, enter Julian Sayin, who there's a clip that is going around of him throwing the ball, kind of off platform, showing the zip, showing the accuracy. But the biggest thing in the clip is that he looks like he's gained about 20 pounds of muscle. He looks bigger. And to me, that was one of the question marks I had, that, hey, is he going to pick up some weight? Because he looked a little slight out there last year. And so I'm not saying a smaller guy can't get it done, but in the rugged Big Ten, you want to have a little bit more weight on you, because if you do get hit by one of those 300-pound defensive linemen, you want to be able to take that hit. That's just what it boils down to. I mean, I want my quarterback to look big and physical, or at least, up to par. But to me, the more important thing is being prepared physically to be able to take that punishment, and gaining 20 pounds or so, which it looks like, with his quick release and his ability to throw the ball is great news. So listen, Ryan Day. Two things. One, Ryan Day is going to make Julian Sayin earn it. He's not going to name him the starter, in my opinion, unless it's just a complete, absolute out the gate wash. Because Ryan Day, this has been his track record all the way back to Justin Fields. He wants that guy, even if he's the leader in the clubhouse, to earn it. He wants to earn it through leadership, through example. He doesn't want to give it to anybody. He wants them to earn it and take it and snatch it and prove it. And so that's what I expect. At least going into fall camp, maybe after like the first week of fall camp, we hear him announce. But there's that. But listen, God bless Lincoln Keyholes, and I love St. Clair. I think St. Clair is the next Stroud and the next big time NFL prospect. But it's Julian Sayin time now, y'all. It just is, okay. And to me, that was confirmed. Again, some people will try to debate and say, "Oh, well, his players or his teammates were just, glazing him just because they just wanted to be nice." And no, We already went over that. Like senior guys heading to the NFL in the combine, going out of their way to gush over this young man. That is not them just talking. Like he is the real deal. Now he just has to go out and prove it, grow, learn, take the leadership role and all that. So with that said, it's just funny because again, the whole Underwood thing with Michigan is like, bro, we got Julian Sayin coming in. They're both going to be new starters. If Underwood does start, which I believe he will, and that's why I say who's going to have the better season. And I think it was kind of a fake question. Of course, it's going to be Julian Sayin, but I guess what that said is it's good to see him with putting on weight. Okay, number one. Now, can we see him get the confidence and earn that leadership role? Because I know he's a quiet guy in the spring and come out of the spring as the uncontested, hey, he's our guy, whatever, from at least within the team, if that's not already the case. And so anyway, Funky, I just kind of wanted to lay that out because we know the weapons that Sayin is going to have at his disposal. But seeing him pack on some weight and out there zipping the ball around, to me, was very, very nice to see.
Sayin's actually like almost like he's getting bigger. He's getting to that kid where he's like pretty average size for a quarterback at this point. If you really look at his height, he just for some reason he looks like not even looks smaller, but just like he gives almost like small vibes. I don't even know how to explain it, but like he just does. He just gives small vibes, which I know that sounds dumb and whatever, but it's the truth.
I get you though.
But he needs 6'1", and he looked like he put on 20, 25 pounds there. Like he looks much bigger than what he did at least during the end of the last season or last time I seen him, whatever, the Tennessee game or on the sidelines of the Natty. But he looks like a much bigger kid, and clearly he has the weapon. He clearly has the weapons, and it's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna throw for. He's going to probably break every single record on Ohio State's books next year.
I mean,
wow. I mean, maybe. Yeah. No,
Well, if we throw a lot as much as we think we are, I can see that. If we throw as much as we are projected to do.
Just think about this. Hear me out here. One, this is the best wide receiver room we've ever had. I know that might be a hot take, but when you have J.J. Smith in your second year and all these guys, I think we're gonna look back at this and be like, wow, this is the best wide receiver core we've ever had. Especially again, JJ Smith needs to be because he's better than anyone we ever had by far. I mean, he's way better than Marvin Harrison was. That might be a really hot take, but I genuinely believe that. And at least for this, this upcoming year. And then we have Carnell Tate, Brandon Innes, Mylan Graham, all those kids. With Max Clare at tight end, and yeah, with a pass-heavy offense, and then Julian Sayin is more of a, he's a pass-first guy, so he's not going to be running the ball as much, so we have to worry about us having an elite, run game on the ground with the quarterback, like he's not going to be taking these hits on the running the ball, doing read option stuff. I'm sure he'll be a willing runner, but that's definitely not going to be our first thing that we're going to go after. And then you have Brian Hartline at OC, who's going to be trying to showcase his guys. Like, let's be real. Like, we're going to pass more than we've had since probably the Dwayne Haskins era, like 2018. But then our running backs are fine. We have fine running backs. I mean, I wouldn't say great, but they're definitely fine. And we have really great pass protection on the offensive line and a good run blocking as well. But pass pro is what I want to talk about right now. I'm not sure if you saw it, but there was this NFL scout talking about Ethan again. And they're talking about Ohio State's offensive line for next year. Or that's not even what they're talking about. They're talking about big transfer portal lads. And they brought up him. And they're talking about how he would have been an NFL pick this year, but he decided to return back. And he's playing for Ohio State next year. Then we got him with probably Ian Moore, Jaden Phillips on the right guard. Right tackle. Then we got those 4 inside guys who are all going to return and be really veteran guys next year. So I have a hard time believing that he's not going to throw for 1 million yards. Plus, we're going to play more games than we had before this season, Like, he's going to play more games than Dwayne Haskins did. He's going to play more games than whatever these other Justin Fields did or CJ Stroud did. The only quarterback that might play more games than him is Will Howard. which is and Will Howard played or one less game than the max you could possibly play. So
Yeah, he definitely has a chance. If we come out and lean on the passing game, and there's some evidence and signs to point to that fact. I mean, like to me, it makes sense to come out the gate and lean on the quick, short passing game, and establish the run that way by establishing the pass first and then popping you with the run. I can see us starting out with that and saying completing a lot of passes. And again, I mean the weapons, man. Like I won't debate with you about the greatest wide receiver room ever. It's so funny because we have so many examples of great rooms. It's just incredible.
in the last 3 years,
From the JSN and Marvin Harrison, I mean, like the overlaps of even Ibuka just overlapping with those rooms. But I mean, I think I can't really argue with that because I'm super high on Brandon Ennishaw. I think he's going to be KJ Hill 2.0 and maybe even better. It's just as far as a great solid underneath, reliable slot guy, a chain mover, physical guy. Again, getting handoffs, end rounds. I think he's going to do some of the stuff Ibuka was doing in the run game. So I'm excited about this receiver core, big time. So Sayin having Claire, in that tight end room, which I think is our best, most deepest talented tight end room we've had in a long time, maybe ever possibly with the wide receivers. And then of course, like you said, the running backs, they're unproven, but I think they have a high ceiling. And then our offensive line, and we're going to get into our predictions for starters for the spring, which we can kind of segue into that. But yes, Sayin it's going to be tough coming out against Texas for his first game, but he'll be at home and he'll be surrounded by a lot of talent. So I'm getting more and more excited about Julian Sayin because, again, y'all, Saban, back in the day, early Saban, he wasn't really known for quarterbacks like that. But towards the back end of his career, he started getting some elite guys. And so if he took Sayin, and you know what I mean? Like Sayin, it's just, again, we've seen a couple skip passes in the turf, and this didn't look great. He's not that big of a dude. He's not a big outspoken guy. So our snapshot impression of him hasn't been the greatest, but there's so many counterpoints. And then of course the onslaught of the the praise he's been getting, from the players, like we've already mentioned, it just is starting to bubble. And I'm really, really excited. It's just funny how we just keep winding up with just dope prospects, man. And Mike Green, thanks again for the 199. Players talk about saying like they did about CJ. Yes, it does give CJ, it does give that. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they gushed about CJ as he was kind of turning heads coming on, it's very similar to Sayin. So I'm definitely excited, man.
Yeah, don't you remember when like Marvin Harrison Jr. left and he raved about Devin Brown a lot and talked about how Devin Brown was the future or how much he's going to miss Kyle McCord as Ohio State quarterback? Oh, right. Me neither, Moses. I don't either. And we talked about all those stars, and then we also have the preseason All-American tight end on our team, Max Clare, who led the nation last year in explosive plays from the tight end position. Yeah, so, I mean, the offense is going to be scary. In week 1, I know we talked about we're losing a lot. Texas is only returning 1 starter in the secondary next year. That Taft guy, he's a good player. The Taft guy, the guy that went viral for like screaming and crying in the hallway outside the game. Was him? Okay. Yeah, he's a good player. Good player, not the bash on him, but good player. But they're losing everyone else. They're losing 3 cornerbacks, I believe, and another safety, or maybe it's 3 total guys. Whatever. They're losing 3 guys or 4 to the NFL next year. So and 14 guys got invited to the combine. So they're losing a ton as well. So it should be very interesting. And we know they added they obviously their D line next year is going to be very good. You got sorry, I'm laughing at the chat a little bit, but they got Hero Canoe obviously, and wow, that true freshman Colin Simmons, I believe his name is.
Oh yeah,
real good player. Oh, he's real good. I mean, if JJ Smith didn't exist, Colin Simmons would be the talk of the town. And actually, no, race that. Colin Simmons, he won freshman of the year. So I don't even want to hear that. Even though that was total BS, but he did. So fair enough. But people are talking about him. But yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. That week 1 game versus Texas, I just have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be like extremely ugly. Like it's going to be some super, the Minnesota game from a while ago where it seemed like every other play was a touchdown. I feel like that's what it's going to
Yes.
feel like. And we only won that game because their star running back went down with that guy went down with a torn ACL. Then all of a sudden they couldn't stop moving the ball.
That was bad. But
That's kind of what this game seems like to me. Where it feels like it's going to be like a lot of dumb mistakes, but just so much talent that like people are going to. I don't know. It's going to be like watching the last 5 minutes of Georgia Alabama on repeat. Like
yeah, man. Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited about that game. I gotta go. I know you said you can't go to the one in Columbus, but you're gonna try to
probably
go
not.
next year in Austin. Yeah, I
Mhm.
gotta go to this game, y'all, and I will. It's just gonna be too crazy, man. We haven't had an opening game like this in a minute that I can remember, because usually it's like week 2, week 3, or something like that, right? Notre Dame at the crib was the last time we had, and I was there, and it was electric. It was great. So but Mike Green, thanks for the 199, saying is known for his crazy high IQ. Yeah, again, it's just like there's so many great things that we're hearing about saying and that we know about him. It's just like you can only doubt so much. Now he has to go out and prove it. We know this, we understand this, but it's hard not to get excited, y'all. It's just not. So with that said, as we're kind of hitting the 45-minute mark, let's go ahead and transition to the spring, because spring practice starts tomorrow. So we're going to give our predictions on who's going to start at every position before spring actually happens, because we're going to hear buzz about who's stepping up in spring, and then after spring there's going to be some solidified opinions based off of the spring. We want to hit it before spring ball starts to kind of see if we nail it or not. But obviously we can start going down the line, and I mean, it's obvious. We already said Sayin's going to start at QB, right?
Anyone who
there's
says
that.
differently is wrong.
Right.
I was told during this year that Julian Sayin he has not been impressed in practice, and he's not going to start next year. That was a real take by a bunch of people online, and you guys know who you are. If you see this, you know who you are, and I have the screenshots too. But I'm only going to release it once I'm actually end up being 100% right.
Right. Just
Don't
for
have
the full
another.
effect.
Just for the full effect. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, that goes against the reports we were hearing about Sayin, throughout the season. Though we were hearing good things about Sayin in practice in the season,
Mm-hmm.
that he was looking good, and you know what I mean. So I don't know where they're getting that from, but anyway. So the next position we can hit on is this running back. So I think the consensus is James Peoples is going to be the guy, and then CJ Donaldson will come in. I mean, I know last year there were games that Quinshawn started, and there were games that Trey started, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be James Peoples will be the one. He'll start every game, in my opinion, and then CJ Donaldson would just be in the heavy rotation. But James Peoples, because last year it was like 1A, 1B. It was like a two-headed monster. I think this year it's going to be James Peoples will separate himself enough to where he's not like getting 30 carries a game, but he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? And I think CJ Donaldson, just watching his tape, he'll get snaps. I mean, he's a good back. He's a physical guy. He's a downhill. He's going to be a short yardage specialist. He'll get carries beyond just the goal line. But James Peoples, if he does what we think he's going to do, he'll be the guy. With Donaldson spelling him often and coming in and getting carries. What you think?
100%. You nailed that one. I think he's going to get a little less carries than people might think, because Ohio State, I think, we're really going to emphasize saving the legs for the postseason. Clearly we saw how important that was this year, how fast Trayvon and Quinshawn looked at the end of the season. So I don't think he'll get as many carries as people are saying. And I can even imagine a world where people are complaining about that, but just Yeah, but yeah, I think obviously he'll get enough where he's the clear running back one with CJ Donaldson, the clear running back two. But yeah, but again, I think they're going to split the carries a little more than people might think. And
Yeah,
also Bo Jackson. I think Bo Jackson's going to get in a lot, especially in. I mean, you saw how much reps. Sorry to cut you off there, but James
you
Peoples
good. You good.
got a ton of reps early on in these games. Like he was like out rushing Trayvon Henderson for the first like 5 weeks. So don't be shocked if Bo Jackson or Anthony or one of these freshmen, or yeah, Anthony or pretty Bo get a lot of carries this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like Bo Jackson a lot. And just to be honest, I know we're coming up on time, so I'm kind of,
Hmm.
speeding through a little bit. I didn't want to go too much into the running back room, but listen, I've said this on other pods. I love the potential of Bo Jackson. He's going to try to wrestle away those third string carries from, Sam Williams Dixon, who's already been here, knows the playbook, has shown some ability that can matter. You know what I'm saying? As far as being able to get snaps, but I think Bo Jackson can get in some games this year and flash. So trust me, I'm not sleeping on him, but I do think Donaldson and Peoples will come out and be the leaders at least until midseason, and Bo Jackson can kind of chip away and steal some carries for sure. But all right, so obviously receiver, the dopest receiver room in college football, in the college football world, hands down. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. Now, here's the question. Here's the question. Will Bryson Rogers, because here's the three up and comers that can try to come in and really try to steal some snaps. You got Quincy Porter, who's a dog, who to me is underrated. He's an underrated guy. I mean, he has the size and speed combo. I mean, he's really, really good. Is he going to be able to come in and surprise? Because I say surprise because the main talk is Mylan Graham. That is the main talk as far as, outside of Ennis, Tate, and Jeremiah Smith. It's Mylan Graham, right? He's been here a year already. He's his second year. He's got speed. We've heard good things, and then, of course, Bryson Rogers at the slot. He played some, last year in some spots. He actually was out there in some meaningful moments. I don't know if y'all noticed that. He played against Penn State. He was in there and at times, not a lot, but he played. So the point is that who is going to get those next reps? And I know they play different positions, but Hartline cross trains his guys. So my point is, if Mylan Graham can show that he's just not a 9-route specialist and one-trick pony, and that he can actually go in there and route somebody up in the slot and use his speed, I can see him hopping over Bryson Rogers. What you think, Funk?
Yeah, no, I think it will be very interesting because usually we only play like three wide receivers, but I wouldn't
Right.
be shocked if we start rotating 4 or 5. I think really five is it's the magic number this year with Mylan Graham and Bryson Rodgers. But we'll see. I think those questions will answer themselves in the spring portal. Like if we see
Yeah.
Bryson, I'm not saying I've not heard anything about them leaving. I actually have heard stuff about them staying, but but I will say Bryson Rodgers isn't going to come here for his last year if he doesn't think he's going to play a lot. And I think that's going to be a very honest conversation they'll have. So if he doesn't transfer, just know that means he's going to play because he's not going to not transfer and not play. That's just
Right.
Brian Hartline has too much respect for him, and Bryson Rodgers has too much respect for Brian Hartline for like that lying to happen.
Yeah, I agree. So moving on to the tight end room. So this to me is interesting. Okay, we mentioned that this room is probably the deepest we've had in a while, if ever, from the top of my head. Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, Bennett Christian, Jelani Thurman. And then of course you got the true freshman, Nate Roberts, who's I think going to be a dog, but I don't see him being in the mix all like that outside of blowouts. I just don't. It's just this room is too stacked. So with that said, I know some people were critical, in my opinion, overly critical of Will Kazmarek last year. Because to me, Will Kazmarek, if you go back and rewatch the games and watch him blocking, I think people are so stuck on his lack of getting targets and catching the ball and being dynamic like a Stover in the pass game that they're sleeping on his ability to block. So I think, the question I'm getting to is with Jelani Thurman and Max Clear coming in, is that going to be a portal alert? And I like Jelani Thurman a lot. I do. I still think he has a lot of potential and upside. He did flash last season. He scored a touchdown. His blocking improved. He actually blocked very well down the stretch. So what happens with this tight end room? Do we, utilize any 12 personnel to kind of rotate those guys in those packages? What is Brian Hartline going to do? Because we know he's a passing guy, but he's an offensive coordinator now. So with that deep tight end room, is he going to utilize the tight ends, that depth, and kind of roll them guys a little bit? Obviously, Max Clare is the main cog. He is the All-American potential guy. But it just makes you think, Funky. Like, do you think there's a portal alert with this depth chart?
Absolutely. I mean, the portal alert is who everyone is going to hate to see leave, because I know it's going to be whatever, because he's one of our highest ranked tight end recruits that we've ever had. But I mean, Jelani Thurman's the portal kid to look out for in the spring. It's because if you can look at the pure numbers of it. He won't play over Max Clare. That's 100%. He didn't play over Will Kazmarek. Sorry, I might have butchered that again. But and then
right.
Then Bennett Christian is like showing that he could block better than Jelani can, and really making an impact. So, and I just don't see. I don't think Jelani wants to be tight end number 3, anyways. So, I mean, that. I definitely think Jelani is the kid to look out for the portal. But then again, good for him if he does. Good if he doesn't, because our tight end room either way is, again, I think by far the best in the country, unless I'm horribly misinformed about someone's tight end room, because I see two for sure NFL guys on this roster with Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, and Max Clare again is the All-American number 1 tight end. So
yeah, and real quick before we move on to the next position, just for clarity, y'all, the challenge with Jelani specifically, the depth chart, is if you do run 12 personnel, typically you have a guy like Kazmarek, who's better known as a physical blocker, an extension of the offensive line. And then you have a Clare who can, have a mismatch against a linebacker and take him down the seam. You know what I'm saying? Not saying Kazmarek can't catch the ball, but usually if you go back and look at our offense with the 1-2 punch of our tight ends, it's a Hireman and a Nick Vanette, or, I forget the other kid, big physical blocker we had back in 2019. In those years, it's usually that type of combination. So it's like you don't put Jelani Thurman in over Kazmarek to be that blocker, because you're not hopping over Clare, who's more of the pass catcher, even though Clare can block too. You see what I'm saying? So he's in a tight spot. We're going to see what happens. We're going to be very curious to see how that shakes out. But we'll move on to left tackle. And listen, I'm no bones about it. I think Ethan Onianwa is going to start.
easily.
He's going to start. The guy from Rice, he's starting. There's no question about it. I don't even think that's a debate. And you agree, Funk?
Yep.
Okay. So I think he's going to come in and start. I think that's pretty set in stone. Now, right tackle, there's some debate. There's some debate between Ian Moore and Phillip Daniels. Phillip Daniels is the kid from Minnesota. He started some games down the stretch of the season. And then Ian Moore has been here. So that's going to be a battle right there. So off the top of the head, Funky, because we got to predict, who's your prediction? And then I'll tell you who I'm thinking.
My prediction is Ian Moore. I think
Okay.
Ian Moore, he has a jump start in the playbook, talented kid, and he's making a really, really big impression early on. Kirk in Nevada have talked about it. The helping technician has wrote about it a lot in the blogs on BuckeyeScoop.com. And I think Ian Moore right now currently leads for that position, and I think he's going to continue to lead throughout spring football and summer football. But it's for sure a battle. They think very highly of both of them. I just think Ian Moore has just a little more experience, in the program, and I think that'll give him the day 1 start.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like, he's been here. Like you said, that matters. I think with Phillip Daniels, he has time. He's not coming in as a senior. You know what I'm saying? So he has time to establish himself and grow and all the other stuff. So I agree with you on that. Left guard, these positions we got coming up, these next two, to me, there's not really a debate, right? Luke Montgomery is going to be the left guard, right?
I think sorry, not to cut you off, but I think the guards are just kind of like like who's gonna start like Austin or Tigra or Luke? Like
Yes,
it's like a complete like
that's
cluster,
the
you know.
question.
It's like
Yeah,
those like I feel like they're all gonna rotate those. It doesn't really matter like who gets the first snap. To me,
yeah,
no. But yeah.
yeah. But with that said, okay, so right guard, I think, and I know they can kind of cross, they cross train between left and right guard, but Tegra and Austin, gun to your head right now against Texas, who starts Tegra or Austin? I'm going to go. Mm, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Tegra.
Yeah, I was gonna
Barely,
go Austin, so I guess
barely. I mean, it's a coin flip. It's literally a coin
no,
flip. But Tegra
it's
has to get better, man. If Tegra has shown at times he could be really solid, but he's shown at times he can clown show it up. So it's just like it's tough. But I'm a go by a hair, Tegra. I think he's gonna push himself this season, and Tyler Bowen's gonna get the best out of him, and I think he's gonna just barely nudge. But like you said, I think Austin's gonna rotate in there.
yeah,
I
I mean
agree.
Tiger has definitely the higher ceiling, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think they're going to push him to really get out there and just be consistent. Of course, Carson Henson at center. That's a given. All right. So defensive end, do we have time for defense or do we need to table this for next week? Where we at?
Oh,
Maybe we should we table this for next week with the defense?
I mean, if I have a little bit of time, but if, yeah, we could. Defense definitely gonna be harder to go through, for
Yeah,
sure.
so let's wait till next
Got
week
it.
for defense, and we can just kind of wrap up the show, and just I guess by summarizing some things and also looking at the comments and whatnot. But I don't want to rush the defense because there's some detail. I think there's more question marks on defense than there is offense.
100%.
So that's going to take a little more time. But just even catching up with the chat. I'm looking here. So I see Robert Howard. You said only problem with Turbo. So y'all talking about Turbo Rogers. I know we didn't mention Turbo Rogers. So I'm glad y'all brought him up because is Turbo going to get, to me, I think Turbo is one of those hybrid type guys. I think they could use him in the passing game against a linebacker. Potentially, I'm talking about in like blowout games. I don't see him playing in meaningful games, but I think that's his trajectory. I think they want to use him in that way to where he's not just going in between the tackles, but they want to get him in space. Would you agree with that, Funk? You still there,
Yes,
Funky?
sorry, yes, Moses. Yes, I
Okay.
agree with that. Yes.
I thought I lost you, brother. But yeah, so yeah, but listen, this running back room is very, very intriguing. Like I'm excited to see what these young guys do. I really am, man, because it's a lot of question marks, but it's also a lot of potential of what these guys can do. But not only that, it's like, okay, what is Heartline going to do? Again, to your point, Funky, are we just going to be a 2018 sling it around every play type of team? Because don't forget, Ryan Day is hovering over Heartline's shoulder. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that in a make sure because Ryan Day wants to be balanced. He wants to be balanced. Because remember, in 2018, the only reason why we threw the ball as much is because we couldn't run the ball effectively, consistently. We couldn't run the ball. And it was a constant issue. And so is Ryan Day going to be there to say, all right, now let's have some balance here, and make sure we incorporate this run game. And so anyway, with that said, I'm just curious to see what these young guys do. Is Turbo Rogers even going to get any tick this year? Just whatever. But he kind of slipped my mind a little bit talking about it because to me, Bo Jackson is that third guy that's going to be chipping for carries because Rogers is just kind of a hybridish type of guy. Just not quite sure if he's ready to get any meaningful carries this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I can see him being a special teams guy as well, maybe getting some reps back there if he's really showing out. But again, yeah, as a summer enrollee, it's probably gonna be hard to get playing time early on, which is when these young guys need to get their playing time versus, I would say, easy teams. But after Texas, you play whatever Grambling State and whoever the heck we play next.
Yeah. Matter of
Like,
fact, I'm gonna pull up the schedule out of curiosity. But yeah, I do think you said Grambling State. I hope they bring their band up here, man. Listen, the HBCUs, man. You can say what you want to say, but the bands is fire. Bring your band, Grambling.
How many people are think we're playing Georgia that week though?
You said what now?
So I saw people posting on their like whatever when our schedule got released. They're like, "Wow, we play Texas and Georgia this year."
What are they talking about?
Because Grambling looks like the Georgia logo.
Oh man, that sucks. Come on, dog. It's clearly yellow. Like people are dumb. I'm sorry if you're out there and you're watching and you said that, forgive me, but you're not smart, I guess. But all right. So Grambling and then Ohio. Okay, and then we're at Washington. So yeah, we got 2 games after Texas for tune-ups, and then we're on the road in a hostile environment that Washington shouldn't be great, but it's hard to play out there from everyone
that's
I've
scary.
heard from.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
that's tough. So we got to get Sayin this offense, this offensive line, and to me, for real, the running game has to be at least a threat. And honestly, bringing all these great offensive line coaching analysts and Tyler Bowen in, I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can really establish the run to where we can go on the road at Washington, because it's going to be tough to try to drop back 11 times at Washington. And don't let it be a night game. That's going to be a tough.
It's going to
place
be a night game. Are you kidding me? It's going to be a night game.
Right,
100%.
exactly. So yeah, the run game has to be at least respectable.
It'll be an afternoon game. Sorry, an afternoon. It'll be like a 4 p.m. game, West Coast time.
Yeah. So 7 here.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Okay. So but anyway. So yeah. So yeah, I guess we can really wrap, man. We'll get into the defensive side of the ball next week. We'll incorporate that with whatever topic we touch on, but we'll have a little more to really dive into, because we'll have a whole week of spring practice to kind of touch on. We know Buckeye Scoop. If you haven't joined Buckeye Scoop, what are you waiting on? Dopest site in the freaking Buckeye sports circles. It's not even close. Great information, nuggets, insiders, all that stuff. We know we're going to get insight on this first week of how guys are looking. So we'll definitely be here to discuss it. But again, I'm excited, man. No injuries. Guys need to step up and take these leadership roles and all that. And then one other thing coming down the pipe we're going to talk about is who is going to get the Blocko jersey. I know there's some leaders in the clubhouse. I won't say any names, but we're going to talk about that. Somebody has to assume that role, because Cody Simon killed it. He deserved it, and so the next guy needs to step up.
Yep. That'll be – yeah, we'll know probably more than any other site on this after first week. And the best part about it is nothing gets sugar-coated on the site. It's just straight what's happening from people that are actually there. So people always wonder, well, how we get this information. It's because we actually have people that are there that are doing the stuff. So it'll be a great week of Buckeye football. And that'll probably be our show next week. It'll come across it. Yeah, they'll make it itself. Nevada will probably drop a nugget on Thursday, Friday, and we'll get to talk about it Saturday or Sunday. So, but yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So listen, always a pleasure. Always appreciate y'all. And we will talk to y'all next Sunday. All right. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Peace.